Well, the Breeders' Cup is in the rear view mirror, as they say. It was a fun time out at Delmar. We had some successes, we had some failures. We're going to talk about what we were most surprised by, how our bets did a little bit, and then, of course, what we'll remember. And then we'll dive into something a little forward. We've got a promotion at HorseRacing and Xpressbet. It's at Aqueduct. They've got a very good card, stakes laden card as is. Three greatest stakes, money back opportunities. We'll talk about them up next on Horse Sense.
Welcome back to another episode of Horse Sense. As always, I'm Bailey Armour, joined alongside Wisconsin basketball coach Scott Shapiro, coming off of that big Breeders' Cup weekend where we saw some crazy upsets. Finally saw Forever Young get his win in the Classic, and that'll be the focus of our show today, is recapping that Breeders' Cup weekend. And then alongside that, like Scott mentioned, Aqueduct Racing is back. It's not Belmont and Aqueduct anymore. It's just Aqueduct now as we head into the winter and it gets much colder up in New York. They've got a pretty solid stakes day on Saturday with 3 graded stakes races. That'll come with a $10 money back special in all 3 of those races. You'll get your cash back up to $10 if the horse that you bet to win comes in second or third on Xpressbet and FirstBet. And I think Scott's got some plays for that promotion. Am I right, Scott?
Yeah, actually, we're recording this Thursday late morning and Thursday early morning. I crafted an article with a selection for each of the 3 graded stakes races. So we'll talk about them a little bit more detail up in the written form.
Fantastic. And then just lastly, before we dive into the actual meat and potatoes of this week's episode, I wanted to mention, as we start to get into the holiday season here, I know that some things can get harder for some families and some folks out there. You guys really helped us out on the Louisville's Give for Good Day that we talked about a couple weeks ago in raising some money for the Backside Learning Center. But I really want to encourage you to, if you can or are in a position to donate cash donations to your local food bank. Wherever you are. The one here in Lexington that I've donated to is called God's Pantry, and they are really helpful with a lot of folks, especially families with children here as we get towards Thanksgiving and Christmas. So if you do find it in your mind and your heart and your wagering activity to donate to your local food bank, I know that those folks out there would really appreciate it.
Well, Bailey, the Breeders' Cup is over. We had fun. We won. We lost. Did you have fun? I just assumed you had fun.
I did have fun. Yeah, my boyfriend and I watched it at home with my friend Christina, who works over at Spendthrift, and her parents were in town too. So Friday we watched it at our place, and then Saturday we went over to her place and had some very good pizza from a new pizza place in town. So it was overall a good day.
All right, good. I didn't have the pizza. What did I think I ordered food in, but I don't remember. But I had an enjoyable day, and we'll talk about betting a little bit, but. First, I wanted to bring up what maybe was the biggest surprise to you, because sometimes that's what we'll remember most. And we'll finish this segment by talking about what we remember most. So maybe they'll be different. Maybe they'll be the same. But was there anything that was most surprising to you over the 2 days?
I think it was probably the distaff. I mean, everyone and their mother was like so keen on Seismic Beauty going into that. She was sub-even money, 1 to something.
Someone on this podcast wasn't.
Someone on this podcast wasn't, but everyone else and their mother was. And then to see her stumble at the start, thankfully she was okay. But I mean, she finished way towards the back of the pack there. And then Scylla was able to nab that upset. I've got the chart pulled up right here. I could actually see what that pricing was if I thought about it. Let's see. What about you? What was your biggest surprise?
Well, you stole it. I mean, Scylla.
No way.
It wasn't that Seismic Beauty didn't win, but it was the fact that the horses I liked more all finished second, third, fourth, and fifth. Mm-hmm. And Scylla was just dominant on the lead, really never had a chance to beat her. So, yeah, I didn't really see her on the lead. When she made the lead with the way the track was playing, it wasn't as much of a surprise. But yeah, I think there's the obvious to many might be the Breeders' Cup Turf, which was won by that Hurdles horse.
That's my next one. Don't spoil it.
What's that?
That's my next one. My most surprising. Don't spoil it.
That's what we're talking about. Most surprising.
Maybe, well, that's like most surprising and also my best bet of the day. That wasn't even really my bet either. So, but I will appreciate that one. But no, yeah, Seismic Beauty.
Your boyfriend had that, right?
Yes, my boyfriend did have that one. We went in on our total days budget. I like saved my budget for a couple weeks for Breeders' Cup Day because you get all these big prices. So we went in on some tickets together on the day. I did not have that horse in my handicapping at all. He did, but I got the profit from our combined bet share at home here. So that one was a big one for me inadvertently, and I didn't even have that horse, but it was the best one of the day for me.
Yeah, so those were the surprises. I guess we kind of both feel the same. How did your bets go though?
Well,
Talking about one, you didn't get the horizontal home with Ethical Diamond, right?
No, I did not have Ethical Diamond, that hurdles horse. Seeing the like hurdles replays.
You had it with your boyfriend.
Okay. I got money back for it. I did not handicap and have that horse, if that makes sense. That was his horse, but I just benefited from his.
If you bet the horse.
I did.
It counts.
We did.
Okay.
So it still counts. So
you're very confusing. I just bet by myself. So
I got the Venmo money back in my Venmo at the end of the day from that. So I will ride those coattails and take the credit for that. He's gonna see this and text me.
Were there any other bets?
Yeah, we did the all dirt pick 4 and the all turf pick 4. My must includes were Notable Speech and She's So Spicy in there, which came through. Some of the other ones we did not hit. We got out of the all dirt pretty early, I think, and then the all turf we also lost in the final leg.
So overall, you lost.
Overall, I was up. He was down. Ethical Diamond is the only reason that I was up for the day.
So he basically saved your day. You would have lost everything.
Yeah, no, 100%. That's what I'm saying. I can't take real credit for it because it was all him. That's the reason that I was up for the day. Was just.
Well, I had a good. I don't want to come on here and say, oh, I was so great, because I wasn't. I mean, winning wise, if you just bet the horses I picked in first, very few won. But yeah. I talked about a couple of races to bet. One was the juvenile fillies where I was against the favorites. Yeah, that worked out in terms of horizontals, did not work out in terms of verticals, because who was it the chalk ran second to Super Corridoro, the Baffert Explorer. But man, when they turned for home, I had the Colebrook. What's the Colebrook's horse's name? The 4 horse. Do I have it pulled up? The one that I picked. I picked it 4-8, and it looked like it was going to be 4-8, 8-4, and then that horse got banged into the rail when they turned for home. But it worked out well for me there. I hit that pick 3 because I was spread in the next race, and it was one of those 30-1. One of the Europeans, my main man, Ocean. How do you say it? Oisin Murphy? Oisin? O'Sheen. Yeah.
I heard it was Percy Barr. Was the Colebrook, right?
That was calling him Ocean the other day, so it was fun.
Ocean? No, it was Percy's Barr. That was the Colebrook.
Percy's Barr. Yeah, that's what I like. Yeah. That's what I picked. And if it came in 4-8, 8-4, it would have been a party. But and then the other race that I talked about all week was the Breeders' Cup Sprint. And while I would have rather had Imagination win, wasn't close. Then Tornado and Imagination was all I was in on. So I had a nice exacta and ended up hitting the try really well with Dr. Venkman for third. So it was good from betting. We'll take it, as sometimes we don't get the breaks. What are you going to remember most about it? Are you going to remember the fact that your boyfriend gave you a horse that helped you? Probably not, right? Like in 4 years. That's what I mean. When you think about this Breeders' Cup, what will you remember? There's obviously some that stand out more than others. Tis now, before your day maybe, but tis now for America. That's one of people.
Tis now for America. No, that one's definitely
stick out.
I think it has to be Forever Young in the Classic, right? Like he and Sierra Leone are both super closely related. Their dams are like half, 3/4 siblings. They've faced off against each other 3 times now. Sierra Leone has beat him twice, and then Forever Young finally had him there at the wire. I only wish that I would have bet him stronger, because as you know, as if anyone saw the show that we did before the Breeders' Cup, I was obviously very keen on Sierra Leone, who just couldn't quite put it together. He's no Tiz now winning back-to-back classics or anything. But I feel that so many people were on Forever Young as the smart choice horse. I wish the odds were a little better, and I do wish that I had him, but that'll be the most memorable one for me.
Yeah. So when So when someone asks you kind of like the 2025 Breeders' Cup, oh, that was the one that Forever Young got over the top in. To
It'll
me,
always be the one that Forever Young one.
yeah, to me, it's weird. And that's why I thought about starting with this topic, in our little conversation, casual conversation here. But I wanted to say it last because my answer isn't all that great. I'm going to remember it most for Sovereignty not running in it. Because
that's a good one.
I was so thinking about this, the Sovereignty, we saw the other 3-year-olds not perform up to capability, but I just think Sovereignty was so much better than Journalism and Baeza by the end of the year that I don't really think that.
Do you think he would have won over Forever Young and Sierra Leone if he had run? I do too.
I still do. Yeah. I still, nothing changed. I mean, obviously not if he was sick, but if the horse that I thought was supposed to be running, I definitely do. So that's what I'm going to remember it by. But that doesn't take anything away from all the obvious strong performances. The fact that me and you came up positive, your boyfriend didn't, and Forever Young.
Do you have a biggest regret? Because I have a biggest regret from the weekend.
My biggest regret? Nah.
No, you don't have one. Mine was when we did our wager guide picks, and this is something that no one would ever even know, but I will put myself on blast for this. When we did our wager guide picks, I was given races, like full races in the wager guide for the first time this year, this Breeders' Cup. So I did the juvenile turf sprint and the turf sprint because I love turf sprints. In the turf sprint, my original submission for picks was 25 win place on Notorious.
I'm not rolling my eyes because I know this story. This is
and She's So Spicy. I loved She's So Spicy. I like Notorious more, but I really, really, really like She's So Spicy.
Right? So you wish you picked the horse for second first. You wish you picked the horse you like second for first, which makes no sense.
Well, no, but listen. So my original submission in the email that I submitted to Jeremy that runs the wager guide was those two horses. And then he said, "Hey, I don't have that email. Can you resubmit them so we can update them?" And I waffled and I went Notorious instead of She's So Spicy. And I changed my wager to $50 when placed on Notorious. And that obviously did not come in. And if I had just stuck with my original guns, which is the lesson that I keep repeatedly learning the hard way here with my wagers that we've talked about like a million times, was just stick with your gut. And then I would have been like right and way more profitable on the day if I had done that, but I didn't. I waffled. And my lesson and regret is to not do that anymore.
Well, Bailey, racing does continue, and that's great for us horse players. In fact, it continued the next day after the Breeders' Cup, but we're going to get back into action heavily on the promotion scene on Saturday. We've got the cornucopia of cash all month. We've got Woodbine promotion that I will be writing about for the blog on Friday. That is 10 times points, right?
That's right.
And then we've got the money back special opportunity, which is what one of my blogs is on. And I'm going to open this segment up to you. There's three money back specials. There's the Hill Prince, which is race 7, 3-year-olds. I think it's a pretty good field. You got 9 in there. You've got the Mother Goose, won long time ago by MC Hammer, for those that remember him in Light Light. Or maybe ran second Star. That was when I was first year I was following the game. And Long Island, the Long Island Stakes, named after Long Island. And that's grade 3, material mile and 3/8. So I want to throw it to you. Which of those 3 races are you most intrigued by in terms of the money back? Or just
I think life? Just in terms of life. Well, I think that the turf races are solid, but no big turf sprints. So I'm going to go back to the dirt race, the Mother Goose. For 3-year-old fillies here. This is a race that, as we were talking about earlier this week, used to be part of the Triple Tiara and then has been moved around several times. Of course, you said MC Hammer is what you think of when you think of this race. I think of Rachel Alexandra winning.
That's a little better. MC Hammer is a little bit
with the hammer pants. I definitely think of Rachel Alexandra when I think of this race, but they've moved it around. It was always at Belmont. Obviously, Belmont being under construction, it's at Aqueduct right now. So I assume that they'll bring it back to Belmont in 2027 when we go back there, but probably keep it here in the fall. That being said, this is a field of 9, so not really a small field, but some tough contenders here. And I want your opinion on the far outside horse. That's who I landed on. Drexel Hill for Whit Beckman. This is a filly that ran in the Oaks this year, and this is her first start after the Oaks. So in my sleuthing and my digging here, after the Oaks, she came up with a bone chip in one of her knees. There was some fluid in the joint. Whit Beckman said she was training fine, but she had surgery to have the chip removed, went to the farm for 60 days, and then came back into training. So she's been working at Saratoga, was here at Keeneland for a little bit in October when they were stabled there, and then now is back at Churchill. And I think something pretty telling for me when I was looking into this, the Fall City at Churchill on Thanksgiving weekend, as I'm like looking ahead for promotions and stuff, the Fall City is also 9 furlongs for fillies at Churchill. So why ship her all the way up here? She must be ready, you know, kicking the barn down, maybe ready to run now versus waiting until where she already is 3 more weeks from now. And him coming off of a greater than 180-day layoff, 21% with an ROI of $5.82. So those were the two things that stood out to me the most out of this one. And I think with the inclusion is maybe not the right word, but like when I'm looking at it, since we don't have odds yet, I think that the Brad Cox filly Lemon Zest and the Chad Brown horse fully subscribed, well, 2 Chads in here, will take more money. And then I'm hoping I can get better value on Drexel Hill. What do you think?
Well, the value part, I mean, that's a big question. This is a filly that ran second in the Kentucky Oaks the last time we saw her. Those barns speak for one thing, but fully subscribed's only win was a maiden win last year. So
Right.
I don't know. That would be my biggest concern with this filly, other than the layoff. You know, how Whit has good numbers, and I've loved this filly from the get-go. She ran all 4 of her races were probably even as good or better than they look on paper.
Really
So
good.
when I wrote up this race, I was just worried that she's going to be a little bit far off of it, or maybe the fact that she's going to be a little bit fresh and there's not a ton of pace might make it a little bit of an uncomfortable trip for her off the layoff. But I picked her for second in the end. I'm just a little worried that I don't know. I don't see how she's a good price. That's the part that I would worry about.
Do you have any
so
inclination on what her price could be?
Well, that's what I was searching for when you were talking, but the morning line odds aren't up yet. So that's a tough question, but I don't see how she's not one of the favorites. She ran second, the biggest race of the year for this level, this crop, the 3-year-old fillies. I mean, I look around this field and I just worry about the lack of speed in here. I think she's the best filly in here. I'm not like overly excited to beat her. But I think you're going to look at you talked about Lemon Zest, who I think will be on the lead, but I think the horse that's right outside her, So There She Was, is like a kind of continuing to get a little better and going to stalk right off like she did in the Remington Park Oaks. But I picked at 8-9, so I'm not overly against, and I'm high on her as well as generally high on Whit. I think he knows what he's doing quite a bit, and it is interesting. She's kind of worked in succession. She had a little bit of she started in August and had 1 week where she missed the work, but maybe she is kicking the barn down. This is a grade 2 though, whereas isn't the Fall City a grade 3, or am I off on that?
Yeah, Fall City is a grade 3 and this is a grade 2, but this is 300,000. I think the Fall City is 400,000.
Yeah, but they don't care. I mean, they care about the grade more than the extra.
Yeah, especially when you're trying to like boost her pedigree and everything. You want the bigger black type here. Do you have any takes on or thoughts on Queen Azteca, that Swedish filly? Remember she ran in the Alabama.
Yeah, she didn't.
I liked her then, and she didn't do shit in the Alabama. She was like 15 lengths off of the winner there.
The only compliment I can really give her is that they thought enough of her
to switch her trainer.
Come over to bring her from Sweden to run in the Alabama. But so they must at least thought she stood a chance. I don't know. Did they purchase her, or did she just end up in the Rudolph Brisset barn?
I don't know how that transition
was in that other barn, I know, for their last race, but I don't have much of a take because she's going to be a good price, but she did absolutely no running.
Yeah, I think the only other one that I kind of automatically tossed here was our Daydreaming Girl, the Parks filly. Yeah, I mean, I don't like her stretching out. She's a sprinter. Like all of her best performances have come sprinting. She was third in the Cotillion at Parks, and she put up a huge buyer number that day. But like she was third behind Clico and Dry Powder, who just ran in the distaff, and she obviously did not go to the distaff. I think she wants to be a sprinter.
Yeah, no, I think she's a sprinter, but her fastest 2 races are. I mean, I think mile and an eighth, I think, is a question, but her fastest 2 races are at 2 turns. Her last 2 races.
Is this one that you would maybe play in the money back special then?
No, I don't like her because of the pace. I just think, to single her out as a filly that you like least, I thought was the part that I was surprised by. Not that I love her. No, for me, it's those. So there she was, because I don't think
Mhm.
she's going to be one of the favorites, and I think she's going to get a good trip. And I think if she doesn't work out for her in terms of win, I do think with the trip that she does stand to reason to hit the board still. But I wouldn't fault you for Drexel Hill. It just almost feels to me a little like she's either gonna. I don't know. I just would be weary of the price. That's it.
As always, thank you so much for watching another episode of Horse Sense. This week, recapping the Breeders' Cup and then taking a look at that $10 money back special in the Mother Goose at Aqueduct on Saturday. The last thing I forgot to mention when we started filming today, we're filming this on Thursday, which is the start of our Cornucopia of Cash month-long promotion here at Xpressbet and FirstBet. So when you bet $100 on select tracks this month, you'll get a $10 bonus right back into your account that you can use to play the races with. This Thursday's, card for that promotion is the Aqueduct card, of course, going along with some of those big stakes coming up this weekend. But you can see a full list of races and days, Tuesdays and Thursdays throughout this month on the Xpressbet promotions page or the promos tab in the FirstBet app. So make sure you check those out and opt into those promotions, as well as the 10 times points at Woodbine and then that Aqueduct money back special. We'll see you next time on Horse Sense, and good luck this weekend.